Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you so much for being on time. We're hoping to begin in the next 5 minutes or so. So we're just waiting a few more minutes. Hopefully, other parents will be here shortly. So thanks again. We will start in just a few.
Oh well. I mean, that's better. It's not so much unclear about what possibility of.
Good evening once again, everyone. Good evening, parents. Good evening, my awesome year 11 students. I mean, I know, hopefully, I have teacher's voice, so that'll be fine nevertheless. I would like to take the opportunity to welcome you this evening. Thank you so much for making the effort to be here. This is a critical time for your children, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here this afternoon or this evening, as this will be one of the last opportunities, one of the last time you will be able to have conversations with the various teachers. Okay? So it's very, very important that you're here this evening. We have a very short presentation for you. Lots of the things we're going to be going through this afternoon, you already know, you're already aware of. Nevertheless, it's extremely important that you're reminded of these things, these elements, these little ingredients, because at the end of the day, information is key. Knowledge is power. So we're going to get started. I'm Jody Wisdom, by the way, for those persons who don't know me. This is Wisdom, and I am the student progress coordinator for year 11. Okay, so we're going to get started. And I need you to direct your attention to our screen. Okay, so the very first thing we have here on the screen is the graduation criteria. Okay, let's see if this is any better. Okay, so the very first thing we have on our screen here is the graduation criteria. Now, as it says at the top, academic criteria. And we have 4 different levels, so to speak. The first one we have a level 1 diploma. Now, your child, once they're graduating, or once they qualify for graduation, that means they've attained any one of these, okay? So the very first one is level 1 diploma. To qualify for a level 1 diploma, they need to have at least 5 subjects. Level 1. Level 1 is usually D's and E's. Okay, so that's level 1 diploma. They need 5, including math and English. If they have 5 subjects and no English, that won't work. You need to have math and English at level 1 or higher. The next one we have is a level 2 diploma. For the level 2 diploma, you will need to have at least 5 subjects at level 2 or higher. Now, level 2, I consider you have A's, B's, C's, 1s, 2s, and 3s. So a level 2, 5 level 2 classes, including math and English as well. For the third one, we have level 2 diploma with honors. 7 subjects instead of 5. So to qualify, your child would get 7 subjects at a level 2, including math and English. And the highest tier we have is level 2 diploma with high honors. To qualify for high honors, you need to have 9 subjects or more. However, you can only get to the high honors category if you have grades 1 or 2, A star, A, B. You can't have 3s, you can't have C's to qualify for high honors. That's very, very important. So for high honors, 9 subjects, level 2 or higher, 1s and 2s generally, and math and English is a must. So I know this is something that you've heard already. However, we felt it necessary to go through this with you again this evening. Apart from the academic criteria, we also have some other elements related to graduation. And those are 10 hours of community service or more, minimum 10 hours. There are lots of ways students can accumulate hours, outside of school as well as in school. However, they cannot get those hours during class time, during school time. Okay? When it's class time, they're expected to be in school, in their classes. But on break times, lunch times, before school, after school, they can get their hours. On a weekend, perfect time. The Easter break is coming up. For those persons who don't yet have their hours, it's very important that you try to get all your 10 hours. And there's some students who leave with at least 100, 120 hours as well. So 10 hours minimum. And you can only get those hours in years 10, 11, 12. So what if we did in year 8 and 9? Well, that's good. However, those can't be used towards graduation. And the next section is, attendance. Now, attendance seems to be a sore point for some persons. And that's something we really, really need to pay attention to. If your child is unwell, if your child cannot come to school, cannot attend school for whatever reason, it is your responsibility as the parent to contact your child's tutor. The tutor needs to be informed when your child is going to be absent. Whether it's for a medical reason, they're ill at a hospital, whatever it is, or family emergency. Regardless of what it is, you need to make sure that you inform the child's tutor when they're going to be absent from school so that the register can be marked accordingly. When you contact your child's tutor, for instance, if it's a family emergency, it's marked as H. When you mark that as H, it's an authorized absence. Present and authorized absence combined gives you the final percentage towards graduation. Unauthorized absences, that means you haven't communicated with your child's tutor or you haven't communicated with me any at all. If a child is absent and you have not said anything, we don't know why the child is out of school. For all we know, the child could be skipping. That's a health and safety issue. You need to make sure that you assist us with accounting for your child for every single day. They need to be at school. Once you're not here, it's your responsibility to follow through with an email, with a phone call, whatever it is your means of communication is, and get that information to the tutor so he or she can be marked accordingly. For graduation, 90% or higher. That's what we expect. 90% or higher as it relates to graduation. That's it for your 10, 11, and 12 combined. Extremely important. So your 10 has passed. We're currently in year 11. So we can still make amends. We can still fix some elements of it. And then you have one more year left. And that goes towards graduation as well. Okay? And that formulates the graduation criteria and what we expect from our students so they can walk across the stage. Okay, now every year what we have is an awards ceremony. As you see here, Friday, May the 5th will be the awards ceremony for lovely year 11 students. That is the date we've selected, Friday the 5th of May. Now the format of that day. The very first thing that will happen is your child, just a quick overview, we have your letters prepared, you'll get those shortly. Because you will need to sign a permission slip allowing your child to go on the bus to the ceremony or the award service and to take part in the water fight. So those slips will be coming to you pretty soon. But the first thing we're going to have is the award ceremony, which is going to be at Red Bay Holiness Church of God. It starts at 9 o'clock, ends at about 11:30, 12. Then the students will be transported back here. We'll have a sit-down lunch for all the year 11 students away from the rest of the school. And then everybody has been waiting on this section, the water fight, as we call it. So we need your permission for your child to be involved in all this. If you do not sign, they cannot be a part of it. As I said, the permission slips are already ready and they will go out pretty soon. Study leave. Now lots of persons have been asking when does study leave begin? Our tentative date is Thursday, May the 18th. And study leave, that is for the entire year 11 cohort. That's everyone. So all year 11s, all being well, your last day of school at John Gray High School will be Thursday, May the 18th. Tentative date. We will confirm that in short order. Now, all year 11 students remain home to study and prepare for external examinations. Now note well, it didn't say stay home and play games. It didn't say stay home and Netflix all day, and the chilling part is certainly out of it. Yes, they can get some downtime, but we need you parents to assist us by making sure that your child is doing what is expected of him or her. They need to have a study timetable. They need to make sure that they are doing what is expected. They're communicating with their teachers as necessary, reviewing reviewing past papers, and so on and so forth, to make sure they're adequately prepared for their examinations. Examinations are only a few weeks away. So by the time they get out on study leave, they would have probably finished math maybe, EDPM, and English just about there. So you need to make sure that they are engaged and doing what is expected. Now, some students may be allowed to return to school at varying times. Now, if your teacher makes contact with you or with your parents about coming back to school for a particular class or lesson, prep session, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you are in full school uniform. You will not be allowed on the compound if you just come in your street clothes, so to speak. So you need to make sure that you are properly attired in your school uniform. If at any point you're asked to return to school for a study session. Now, it's very important to know that not all students will be asked to return. Very, very important part. Now, if there are any issues whatsoever with persons who have returned after the study leave has begun, you will be asked to leave the compound, and you will be asked not to return unless you have an external examination. Because at this point, yes, you're a John Gray student, but you're on study leave. You should be home preparing for your examinations. So if you're going to come on this compound and not conduct yourself properly, we're going to have to ask you, please, to leave and not return unless you have an external examination. Now, early study leave. There are a few persons who have already received warning letters. Now, the process is this. It's very simple. If a child is not conducting themselves properly, they're not showing discipline, excellence, and pride here at John Gray High School, then we as a senior team will then need to take action, so to speak. And we do that by issuing warning letters. So if for any reason a child is not conducting themselves properly, they will be issued a first warning letter. It's called an early study leave warning letter. Number one, If the behavior continues, then you'll have a warning letter number 2. And after that, number 2, there are no more warnings. We give you a final letter, and that letter will state that you are no longer allowed to be on this compound unless you have an external examination. Now, usually it's just a handful of students who get these letters, so we're hoping that students will understand the importance of being here at school and doing what's expected of them. So we can minimize the number of letters that we send home. Now, I also know that there's some parents who would prefer for their child to be home, because when your child is home, they probably study better. Probably you're there, you can supervise the child, they're more engaged, and so on and so forth. If that is the case, then you can make a special request as of term 3, just after we get back from the Easter break. You can make a special request in writing asking for your child to remain home and to work from home. Okay? So that's also very important. So if you really feel, because there's some parents who really think their child would work better at home in that environment, if that works for you, that works for your child, you have every opportunity to put that letter forward, and we'll review and decide accordingly based on the feedback we get from their teachers. Now, I think it's the last thing from me. Now, this evening, you should have received the examination timetables. I'm sure everybody got theirs at the front. Examination timetables. Now, those were already distributed a few weeks ago, but we made extra copies so that the parents can be fully informed. So you should have your child's examination timetable. We need you to check it. Check it once, check it twice, and please make sure that we don't have any clashes on it. Check the times carefully as well. If there are any issues where that is concerned, you can contact me, and I'll contact or go through the exams officer, Mrs. Hunt, and provide feedback, and we can work through that together, okay? Attendance to examinations, last thing for me, is extremely important. Think about it. You spent 2 years, all of year 10, all of year 11, working at this particular subject. At the very least, you would want to get a decent grade, a passing grade. It doesn't make sense if you're here for all 5 years and you leave with nothing at all, right? So, attendance, extremely important. If, for instance, you're doing EDPM tomorrow, paper 2, you come, you do paper 2 EDPM. Next week, Tuesday, you have EDPM paper 1, and you don't bother to turn up. That's what. There's no way you can pass. You're going to fail. You have to make sure you attend all your examinations. Paper 1, paper 2, attend all examinations. It's extremely important. Far too many times we have to be calling parents and saying, hey, your child is not here for the examination. Is he coming to the exam? We shouldn't have to do that. As a parent, and if your kids are responsible, they should just get up early and say, hey, I need to have a healthy breakfast. I have exam starting at 9 o'clock. And get here at least an hour before your examination begins. Okay? So that's my 2 cents. I thank you so much for listening. I am now going to hand over to Mr. Horton or the principal.
Okay, I'll be very, very brief. For the first bit, I just need 10 students up here. Quickly, 10 students. Ezekiel, Lani, come on. Jordan, 10 students, quickly. Josh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 more. Shankino. Thank you very much. Come on, Shankino. Kristen. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 4, 7, 8. We still need 2 more persons. Parents. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Elizabeth. So I have to be a part of it for now. What I'll do for the time is I'll tell a story. For the 2012, we started off, the exam pass rate for math was 13%. 13. So for every 100 kids, only 13 kids are 11 to pass. A few years later, it moved up to 18%. So for every 10 persons you have, roughly only 2 persons who pass. It's shocking. Right. 2021 and 2022, we had 34% pass. So for every 10 persons, you have roughly 3.5 persons. About half. Right. Here's what we have to know. Up until this is why we need to use no, the present situation up to January this year, we've got 31% of the students passing so far. So it means every 10 kids, we have 3 students passing. What our aim is for this year is 50%. That's why every 10 students, at least 5 students are passing, and we are well on our way to that. Right? We already have 31% for English in the back, and for math, and for English, we have 41% already in the back. Thank you very much, students. Just give me these so I can put them back up. Thank you very much. Just leave them here. So the targets are, for maths, at least 50%, for English, at least 70%. It's not Google. Just click on that. So what we've done, we have moved away from just saying to students, saying to parents, we need more for you to pass, we needed to get to this, we needed to get to that. We've moved beyond that. What we've actually done is we've actually started pinpointing students. So it's not just a number, we've got the names. So I know that, I won't call them name, but I know that Ms. Hutchinson, she has 6 level 2 passes, but as Mrs. Wisdom said before, if you don't have maths, you will confine to a level 1 diploma. So what we did, using all this information, looking at your predictors, etc., we moved and actually created 2 priority groups. Back to the presentation of Smalugan, if you don't mind. If you actually see Zane here, what Zane is doing is he's writing about what he plans to do for his level 2 math. We've got a data wall where the students were identifying. So it's not, they're not numbers anymore. It's not just 20% of the kids or 15% or whatever it is. Key staff know the names of these students, and they're actually having discussions, having conversations, chasing them up, making sure the SBAs are secure to ensure that your children will get at least a level 2 diploma. So Zane's done that, and we're writing positive messages. I will pass, I will work harder, I'll make sure I get SBAs done, etc. And we've identified all these students. Other than just identifying the students, we had to take some sort of steps. So Mr. Stratton here, who was in this position here last year, and he's now the director of SciFec. And we have started some sort of a collaborative spirit, where we have got some kids in SciFec who still need math. We've got kids here at John Gray that need math. So we've collaborated and created a schedule where, while SciFec is running some prep sessions, you can click on the link. While SciFec is running some math prep sessions, the John Gray students can pop over. So we're online, so you can get in the comfort of your home. We're on Zoom, we're on Teams, getting these sessions in. So our walking sessions, and this was actually shared with a select group of students and parents, that is. For the students that were identified, it's based on your CAT data, that test that you've done, from previous years, and also your attitude to learning in your math lessons. Your teachers believe that yes, this child can and will get a level 2 math pass. So I'm sure some of you probably saw the WhatsApp group created last week, Friday, a couple of what's going on right here. And we're actually just sharing pertinent information just to ensure that your child or students can get a level 2 math from here, where you'll have more options moving forward for year 12. Make sure you can at least get a level 2 diploma. And when a lot of you came in, just let me just go to the place. Other than the data, the timetable and the exam timetables that you received, you also received a scholarship booklet. For your kids to have access to these scholarships, they will have to have set criteria. And the level 2 math will be extremely important. English, extremely just as important, but it hasn't been as much of a problem as the math. So a lot of persons are in groups, and other than that, we have actually secured sponsorship where we actually pay about nearly $10,000. Pay for math tutoring for quite a number of kids. You've got the math multiple choice mornings going on. Mrs. Lawrence and the math team getting that bit sorted. Loads of prep happening between SciFec and John Gray, and a lot of targeted work being done based on mock exams done in December and in March. Back to the slide. And that's basically it on my part. But the key thing is, the best thing, some of the students have it secure, well done. But for the ones who don't have it as yet, it's in your best interest to try throw everything at it. I know, it may be difficult, you try your very best, try and get that bit sorted. It will make a huge difference. And we did have some success, I think, for the first time. Mrs. Lawrence and the math team, they had entered some students for the math exam in January, where we did enjoy some level of success. So that bit sorted. We had 34% passing all of last year. Up to now, for this school year, we already have 31%. We're going for at least 50. At least 50%. Anything is better. But half the kids leaving this year will leave a level 2 math grade. And we're just asking the parents as well for that level of support to make sure that as many students as possible, it's not just a fancy building, new school, this at all sorts. We want to make sure that your kids are leaving with at least a level 2 diploma, honors, honors, so you can be happy, we can be happy, and the community at large can actually enjoy and celebrate that success. Thank you, Mr. Bart.
Thank you very much for being here. The team, you can see there's a big team of people around the Year 11 students at the moment, and you're a massive part of that team, parents. Thank you very much for being here, okay? There are some very different things in the exam timetable this year. Please make sure you have a look at it. You'll see the math paper split on 2 different days, the English papers on 2 different days. They used to have it all on one day, so you'd have to go and sit for 2 hours, 40 minutes in the morning, come back and sit an hour in the afternoon. That's changed this year, so there's a chance, so you're actually about 20 days in between the 2 different papers in the maths and English exam. So there are no excuses, but they're away from us at that time. You really need to do everything you can to support them, to help them to sleep, to manage device time, to get them in the best nutrition kind of frame of mind, make sure they turn up fresh on the mornings. I always talk about athletes, always use athlete examples. You don't stay up all night trying to get that information the day before an Olympics. You need to be there at your very, very best. I prefer you took them out for a pizza, relax the night before, you got the hard work done before that, you get a good night's sleep and they can give you their best. The other stat I always talk to you about mathematics, one of the latest studies out of the US, on average, if you're level 2 math pass, if you get a grade 3 or above in mathematics, on average, compared to your peers, you owe an extra $100,000 US in your careers. Over $100,000 US on average than someone that doesn't get that maths pass. Wouldn't it be great to do it now? And if you don't get it now, you come close, you're going to get it at SciFec. But wouldn't it be great to get that now? And then you've got even more options about what happens at year 12. So the team all here for you. Mr. Horn's going to explain exactly where you need to go to. I know the big school looks very big, but it is very simple. When you come out here, it is just a north, south, east, west. It's like a cross shape, and you can navigate around to get those directions on that. We're very proud of this Year 11 group. I genuinely believe these are going to be our best results ever. We're all going to be very proud of our students, but we're going to keep working together to make this happen. When you get to the teachers tonight, we know we'll take time at the start of the meeting. Please just focus on the essentials. We all love being polite. It's all great checking on somebody that you know from outside the school or a church or a sports club,